Hello, how are you doing? Welcome to Youth Split by Pefas Yokimau Youth Online. I am your host, Shel Njogu. Today we have a very interesting topic for you. We are starting a new series, by the way, called Relationships. And to start with, we are going to start with the topic career relationships. And with me, I have an old friend. We were in the same high school. Let him introduce himself.
Thank you, Shel. Mm-hmm. My name is Mwangi, if you remember that.
I do.
I work as a strategic management consultant for Rensyl Integral, which is a company that's probably 2 years old, 1 to 2 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've skipped that you're the founder. It's okay to take the accolades as they come.
I was trying not to do that, but it's okay, yes.
Yeah. The managing director.
Thank you.
Yeah, and to start off, I read for you a quote that has inspired this topic. Relationships are all there is. Everything in the universe only exists because it is in relationship to everything else. Nothing exists in isolation. We have to stop pretending we are individuals that go it alone. And I think it's a very powerful quote in relation to what we are discussing today, because I want us to understand the importance of having to relate with others, our co-workers. Actually, it's from home, from our friendships, our families, friendships. Then we go to our workspaces, to the church spaces, and how we can build those relationships to the benefit of others and also for us. And to just start off, let's start by understanding how to build a personal brand. Yeah.
How to build a personal brand?
Yeah.
Well, that's a topic of, it's a broad topic that, can take very many dynamics and directions. Mm-hmm. But maybe I'll highlight the most important, probably, points in building a personal brand.
Okay.
First and foremost, I think before someone gets to building a personal brand, they need to be aware of who they are in the first place.
Yes.
And one of the things that I commonly want to refer to is a quote I once had that there's no point doing business, or you should not do business if you don't know your business.
Yeah.
And this means don't go out there trying to do something if you don't even know yourself.
Yes.
So if you want to start a personal brand, the first and the most important thing to do, know the purpose of why you want to do that. And that will help, overcome challenges. When challenges come, and sometimes you're frustrated, because frustrations will definitely come.
Right.
But when you are aware and you know that this is the purpose I'm supposed, or I feel I was born to do, you have some sort of resilience.
Yes.
So first and foremost, build a personal brand.
Okay.
First and foremost, know your purpose.
So help us understand, how do I find my purpose? How do I know my purpose even?
Knowing your purpose is a journey. I would say it's a journey.
Right.
A journey of not one day, maybe not two days.
Yeah.
For some people, it will take probably even 30 years, 40, 50 years, until you find someone is discovering themselves later in life. But that said, knowing your purpose is a combination of, all those factors or all those circles that make up a human being.
Yeah.
That is, trying to find what are you good at, what are you blessed at, and one thing that I've been taught and I've also come to appreciate, to learn, is that when you are serving your purpose, deep inside your heart, for one reason, God provides a way.
Yes.
He makes things happen.
Yeah.
Somehow you don't know how, but things happen. Number two, you bless people. You do things, and people, appreciate what you do.
Right.
And you can feel the blessing and the impact you're making.
Yeah.
And number three, people want to pay you for it. because they love what you're doing.
Yes.
So if you're able to find that particular niche within the many things that a person can do and that they're able to do, then look at what does God make a way for, what blesses people, and what are these people willing to pay me for?
Yeah.
And finally, what am I able to do?
Yes.
You know, you can have a purpose, but you're not able to do it. You know, you can't force yourself into something. But when you're able, when it's your purpose, somehow God makes it, you know, that you're able to do it. So those 4 points.
Yeah.
First, it must bless people.
Yeah.
They must be willing to pay you because, they will be willing to pay you. Then God will make a way for it.
Right.
And finally, it's something that you're able to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've liked the way of serving people, because I think people can observe you and tell you that you do good in this and this, and it's good because we are appreciating the people around us and building that relationship. So how do I respect, or how do I even build the relationships around me, from friends and valuing friends to the people who are serving even at the very least, like the gate man, like the people who help us in our house managers. How do we get to know the value of such people and appreciate it? Because I think they are also career helpers.
Yeah, very good question.
Yeah.
And I would say, I believe if you know your purpose yourself,
Yeah.
you will appreciate the purpose of others. Because you will struggle finding your purpose, and then you will find that when you meet other people, you understand them. And this is not a very common, it's not a very common phenomenon, and especially nowadays, because we have people who kind of, stumble into something, and because they do it well, they, kind of assume it's a purpose they're supposed to do.
Right.
And then they fail to appreciate the bond they need to build with the other people.
Yeah.
So very many people out there are actually not serving the purpose they were meant to do. It's only that they're in a space where, things are working out well. And so we've turned into, especially now being that we're in a capitalist society where everything is about money. So there is less about people and the bonds and the relationships.
Yeah.
It's more about the money.
Yeah.
And that's why we may lack value for other people. So I think it's very important that once we find our own purpose, and having known the pain of going and of finding that purpose, we also go forward to extend patience and kindness to other people, so that they can also journey and find their own purpose.
True. I like that. And just help me understand how can I, for lack of a better term, use those who are around me to build my career in friends, friendships, relatives, for them, career helpers or career builders. How do I integrate that a certain relative, without the feel of like I'm bothering them or I'm that needy person, but I just need assistance because I want to step a certain ladder? How do I go about that?
For you to integrate other people, you can't be polite. You can't gamble with a vision and a purpose you have in life.
Yeah.
You have to be stubborn. You have to, not fear to have other people say you are stubborn. So what? It's for you to get your purpose.
Yeah.
I would say, if I was to be asked, I would be as stubborn as it would take me to ensure that I get help from other people.
Yeah.
And to ensure that whether they like it or not, I integrate them into my vision because they're important.
Yeah.
Like if you look at, say, your friends, your parents, your family members, they're important. Whether they like it or not, they are a part of your vision because they have shaped who you are so far. So I would be stubborn enough until they accept
Right.
to know that they are part of my vision.
Have you been like that? Because I think in your brand, in your company, it's almost a requirement that you have to build those relationships, because
Definitely.
it's a company that you require clients, and for you to have clients, you have to be that outgoing or go for whatever you want. How has it been like for you?
Some of my friends laugh at me because I'm daring.
Okay.
I'll tell you for sure. I kind of I don't know where the energy comes from sometimes, but if I feel that something is of importance to me, I choose to go chase it and then reconsider things later.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I probably call people or reach out to people, and then when I'm alone, I'm like, wait, where did the energy come from?
Yeah.
So I think I have learned
Yeah.
to be persistent, to be stubborn.
Yeah.
Of course, in a good way.
Yeah.
Of course, as you continue disturbing people and being stubborn, they begin to appreciate, because they also begin to see value in
Yes,
in,
yes.
in what in that relationship.
Yes.
So, of course, it's important to be stubborn, but again, to be wise, to know how do I execute my stubbornness.
Yeah.
So it's probably a skill that comes over time.
Yeah. Tied to that, when you're going to offer a service you want to offer a service to a client, and you're trying to pitch. I have read a quote: talk less, talk a little, and say a lot.
Okay.
How do you manage that, where you're selling yourself without being over aggressive, but still you're hard?
Good planning.
Mm.
You have to plan what you're going to say in the first place.
Like, what's the key requirement that I have to say these, and these?
You know, it's interesting. We talked about purpose. If I may go back to that point.
Yeah, yeah.
And we said, if you're serving something within your purpose, things just flow. I mean, things just work for you. Like, in your career, I'm sure you don't find it hard, do you?
No, no.
You see, things just flow for you.
Okay.
So when someone looks at, say, MySpace, they would probably not understand how things may flow, how sentences may interact and, form a bargain. But somehow they do. So if we take this back to someone serving their purpose, then somehow things work for them. Somehow those statements and arrangement of ideas, when they are going to pitch out an idea, somehow it just works for them. And if they're caught up in a question that they can't answer,
Yeah.
somehow they know how to dodge around it.
Yeah.
So I think it's more about you do it naturally. When it's your purpose, it comes out naturally, and you're able to, get yourself out of probably tricky situations.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is something that has interested me lately. I'm reading this book, Never Eat Alone. It's by Keith Ferrazzi, and it's talking about relationships, creating career relationships, and that's what prompted me to do this show today. And he's talking about cold calling, where you've met these, or you're thinking of you're thinking that this person could be good for business, but they don't know you. Have you ever used any cold calling?
Yes, I have.
Uh-huh.
Lots of times.
Okay.
Even today.
Even today.
Even
How
today.
does it go?
Nobody's going to know about you if you don't go out there.
Yeah.
You have to go out there somehow. You have to go out there. If you have to chase it, the dream, and go out there.
Yeah.
Someone doesn't know you, but they're important for your vision.
Yeah.
You won't let that opportunity pass.
Yeah.
Just if the worst thing that can happen is for you to call someone and they tell you, I don't have time for you, or something like that. But until you try and reach out to them and they do that, then the other worst thing that can happen is to be fearful that they may not be receptive of me. And so many times, the reason why we may even fear to call some people who we may find they may be of value,
Right.
an interesting value to us is fear. Sometimes we just fear out of not being told, but we assume and fear that if I call so and so, if I call Shalmith, for example, she's going to not pick up my call. But have I called and tested that she won't pick my call? So I end up not being assisted because I feared.
Yeah.
So what I've learned over time and what has assisted me to, reach out to people, and whether they know me or not, try and build a bond with them, is I think I just have learned to overcome fear.
Yeah.
At least if not overcome, sometimes I can shelve it for some time and then pick it later. But just make sure that when I need an opportunity, at that particular time, the fear should not come in between me and that opportunity.
Yeah. You've stated a very good point on what is the worst thing that can ever happen. And I also read a book, How Not to Worry, by Dale, and he's saying that you can state what's the worst thing that can happen. You state all those points. Then what's the best thing that can happen? State those points as well. And I think we should be motivated by the positive. It's a very good point. I like that.
Yeah. Because fear keeps us from... fear makes us form imaginations that sometimes don't exist. And that comes in between us and what we are chasing. So if we can overcome fear, even cold calling shouldn't be a big issue because, it's a matter of calling somebody. They tell you, no, I can't do that for you. Yeah. And then probably you ask them why. Then they give you objective feedback and you can work on it. So I think what probably stands between us and not being able to reach out most of the time is fear.
Yeah. So let's go on to expanding our circles. How do you go about that? And I'm imagining you actually please use the example of your company because it's 2 years now. And obviously, yes, you have to develop it. But again, you're in this position where you want to meet, I wouldn't say people who are in the same career space, even though they are managing like different companies. How do you go reach out to them even though they are not adding value per se in your company? How do you expand to such circles?
First and foremost, I have to be of value myself. I have to be of value to sit in a table where other people of value are seated.
Right.
So I have also learned to build myself before I go out there and try and look for people to build me and to network with. Because what can we talk with a person of value if I have no value to take to the table?
Right.
So I have learned to be of value myself without first of all being assisted. So that if I'm looking for assistance, I'm looking for assistance to build on the value that I have. Yeah. So first and foremost is I've learned to work on myself. Yeah. And that's what I said, to work on my fear, to work on tie all those small things on my own. Yeah. Then of course I do a lot of marketing a lot of outreach, especially on social media, because in this age and time, you're not likely to stand out if you can't do social media marketing. Yeah. So as a company, we do a lot of social media marketing. And apart from that, we also have other avenues of meeting our clients. You can sometimes call them. Yeah. Out of not doing any business, but just call them and ask them how you're doing. Yeah. Because that builds a bond. Yes. That builds a kind of not a work bond per se, but builds a bond where the two of you are inseparable. Yeah. So we've learned to reach out to clients. Yeah. Find out how they're doing. If they have a special day, send them a message, tell them happy birthday. In a way, it kind of makes you not become a company client kind of a friend, but become a friend kind of friend. Yeah. And then from there, business becomes easy. Yes. So I've learned to work on myself, and of course, when I talk about myself, also the company is a person. So working on the internal makeup of the company, so that it's a person of its own that can stand with other companies and still provide value. Yeah. And then apart from that, internally, So externally, you do social media marketing, go to conferences, go to other events where people are.
Yeah.
Try and, if you're in a conference and you can see someone who's of value, don't fear, walk up to them, introduce yourself.
Yeah.
And that's how, over time, you've learned to build a bond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a very great point, offering value. And also, I think you'll expand more. Let's say I am an introvert. And now you're talking of conferences and meeting new people. It's not a cup of tea. How do I do that? I know, yes, I want to build myself, yes. But I have this somehow personality that it's almost in my way.
I want to give an interesting answer.
Okay.
That's why I'm laughing. Because
okay.
I would want to ask you, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
would you eat your personality?
No.
You need food, right?
Right.
So at some point, you have to, if you're in a conference and you can see a person of value,
Yeah.
and here's your personality on the right hand,
Yeah.
here's hunger on the second, on the right hand.
Right.
You have to balance the two and try and figure what is of most importance to you.
Yeah.
Of course, it's food and it's a living.
Yeah.
So at some point, you will have to shelve a personality for the sake of an opportunity.
Yeah.
And it happens a lot sometimes, actually. You find yourself speaking to people that you didn't think you would talk to,
Right.
or you would not want to talk to, just because if that opportunity goes, it won't come back. So even being an introvert, it's a matter of playing around with opportunities, because once some of them go, they won't come back.
True.
Yeah. So play around with your personality.
Yeah.
And of course, you'll find once an opportunity comes, you can grab it, then go back to being an introvert.
That's true. That's a good secret. Thank you.
Most welcome.
So let's talk about the audacity of marketing my brand, whether I'm meeting new clients. Let's talk about the audacity of marketing me as a brand, and also maybe if I'm employed or I have employed myself, how do I market myself?
In this age and time, marketing yourself talks a lot about being out there.
Yeah.
Because if we don't know you, then you don't matter to us. If you don't know me,
Yeah.
I don't matter to you.
True.
You have to know me for me to matter to you. So in this age and time when technology has become an important part of life,
Yeah.
building your brand and marketing your brand requires you to do a lot of outreach, not necessarily by, when you talk about outreach, something actually I talked about in a book I recently published called A Becomer's Philosophy.
Yeah.
And I talked about many of the brands out there have been, we have many brands which are not operational, but which have very active social media profiles. So these companies will send us motivational quotes, pictures, but in the real sense, nothing is happening on the ground. And that is not marketing. That is propaganda. I would say propaganda, because what the company needs to be making is not. We can't eat likes and we can't eat comments. We eat food.
Yeah.
So if someone has to market themselves, if they have to build a brand and have the audacity to go out there and say, my brand is this and this and this, can do this and this and this.
Yeah.
First and foremost, they need to build a very good social media marketing strategy. They need to be known.
Yeah.
They need to be able to play around with, the emotions of their clients. They need to know how to engage their clients. So should one want to build their own personal brand, whether self-employed or employed, they need to be out there reaching out to people on social media, because that's where we can meet billions of people.
Yeah.
Now, the interesting thing about being on social media is we have two crops of people on social media today. One crop of people who are there,
Yeah.
just there,
Yeah.
and another crop of people who are there to offer productive
Yeah.
and doing productive things on social media. So if you want to build a brand, you can't be on social media just there. You will be there offering value, offering a service or a product that can fetch an audience or can fetch you a community.
Yeah.
And if you say that,
Yeah.
then it takes us back to, you can't be offering a service if you don't know your service. You can be doing business if you don't know your business.
Yeah.
So I think all these things are tied together.
Yeah.
That should you want to build your brand, go back to step one.
Yeah.
Sit down, ask yourself, who am I?
Yeah.
What do I want to do?
Yeah.
What is driving me?
Yeah.
Then from that point, things, of course, we said God will make a way. Things will happen for you. People will be willing to pay you. Of course, even making a brand at that point will not be hectic.
Yeah.
That does not mean that there won't be challenges when building that brand. Of course, there'll be challenges.
Yeah.
And that was, it's important to plan. As you go to build your brand, you need to plan. Whether it is, like we said earlier, talking to friends, talking to family,
Yeah.
but you need to reach out to somebody, sit down, plan. Because if you don't plan, high chances you're likely to run out of ideas. So you will have to plan so that you're not on social media building a network which is not of value. Because if today you actually even scroll through any social media platform you're in, you'll find there are people who have very many followers, but the benefit they get from that is just a good following and comments and likes.
Yeah.
That is not a network of value.
Yeah.
And that I'm sure is not what we are talking about here.
Right.
We're trying to build a brand of value.
Yeah.
So, and value comes from not the pictures that someone posts, but it comes from the content and the quality of product or service they offer. So to build that personal brand, if you're employed, then you have to stand out.
Yeah.
If you're self-employed,
Yeah.
you also have to stand out.
Yeah.
You can only stand out when you're doing a service or offering a product that is of value to your community.
Right.
I don't know if that answers your question.
It's way, way better gone.
I'm scared. I may go past.
You're in the
So I think
track,
if that answers your question,
yeah.
then if you want to build, if you want to build if you want to build a brand,
Yeah.
is it a brand, right?
Yeah, of value.
Yes, build a brand of value, and value has first of all to come from inside the person
Yeah.
who is going out there.
Yeah.
If it's a company is made up of people. So you have to build value among those employees before the company can be of value. So it's very important to build that value or cultivate that value.
Yeah.
And of course, that value, it can be seen. We can see it.
Yeah.
Like we said earlier, when you're doing something that is within your purpose,
Yeah.
people can see it and they'll pay you for it.
Right.
So when someone does something of value and they want to build a brand,
Yeah.
I think what they need to ask themselves is, what am I good at? What can I do?
Yeah.
And once they do that, out here we'll be willing to pay for that.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. And do you have a board of those who guide you and who just intervene, or you call if your business is it's not working, that there are certain people that you can call? You have a community of people that you can call in, that you just hang out and they are also helpful in your brand building?
Yes. One of the mistakes I did when I started out was I failed to have able men and women who could advise me.
Yeah.
And again, that's a topic I also really explored in my book, because it's a personal lesson that I learned.
Yeah.
That if I go out there thinking I know things, of course I know things, but there's a reason why, Shell, you are there.
Yeah.
There's a reason why other people are there, because there are things that you've seen in life that I haven't seen.
Right.
And the way that you can think as a person is not the same way that I can think as a person.
Yeah.
High chances.
Yeah.
So I learned that one of the biggest mistakes I made myself was to believe in myself way too much.
Yeah.
I think I bit more than I could handle.
Yeah.
And so I made mistakes.
Yeah.
And was frustrated.
Yeah.
Then I reached a point and told myself, no, I have to go out there and talk to somebody.
Yeah.
So I, like you asked earlier, if I have people that I talk to, and if I can call the call, I tell you I can call the call.
Yeah.
There are men and women out there who can tell you, I don't spare them.
Yeah.
I try to be as stubborn as I can.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that stubbornness has assisted me a lot to have good guidance.
Yeah.
To have people who can correct me and tell me you're making a mistake.
Yeah.
And so over time, I've learned to appreciate
Yeah.
the importance.
Okay.
So yes, I have a few men and women who I share with the plans that I have.
Yeah.
They give me objective feedback.
Yeah.
And then I can correct. I can go back and think, then come again. And it's of importance to me. It's of value to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one. What about, do you mentor?
Yes, I do, but sometimes I wonder how I mentor.
Okay.
Well, I've actually had some, probably 2 or 3 people call me, tell me I'd like to be your mentee.
Okay.
And I'm like, wait, why? I mean, why? I'm also learning life,
Yeah.
So I do, but of course I do. And the interesting thing is that all of us mentor. Because whether you like it or not, somebody out there is looking at you every day.
Yeah.
And they may not be telling you, but they're looking at you
Right.
and thinking, wow, one day I'd like to be like Shell.
Yeah.
So I do mentor.
Yeah.
Probably the ones I know are 2 or 3.
Yeah.
But maybe there are hundreds of people that I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So before we finish, anything that you wanted to say that you haven't said yet?
Well, I don't think so. But I would probably just insist on 2 things.
Yeah.
That especially for young people,
Yeah.
we need to work a lot on finding our purpose. And not just doing things, not just investing blindly. We need to at least have an assurance that what we are doing, we can defend ourselves and we can feel it is what we were meant and called to do. Now, even when you are sure that you are called to do something, there is no guarantee that things will be easy. Extremely easy for you.
Yeah.
Giving a good example, David was called to be a king.
Yeah.
But even if he was anointed as a young person, it took him a long time before he became an actual king.
Yeah.
So he had to go out there to prove himself. He fought, was it a bear?
Yeah.
And a lion.
A lion, yeah.
And he fought Goliath.
Yeah.
He proved that he was worth it.
Yeah.
Fear didn't stand in his way. So there are 2 points I'd like to insist on.
Yeah.
First and foremost,
Yeah.
be sure you didn't just wake up and start doing things. Be sure you've sat down, prayed up, and you're sure that you're serving your purpose in whatever business you're doing.
Yeah.
Point number 2, once you're sure that's your purpose, it's not a matter of whether you should quit and try something else. It's a matter of chasing opportunities. And you can only chase opportunities when you have refused or you have overcome your fear.
Yeah.
So, know your purpose, overcome fear.
Yeah. I think it would be unfair, though, to end the show without you telling us about your books. You guy, we are in the same fourth, and he has 2 books out. Just tell us about your books.
Oh, well. I have 2 books.
Yeah.
I would say 3 actually. One is in the making.
Yeah.
I was working on chapter 2 yesterday.
Okay.
The first one is called A Becomer's Philosophy. It's a book, basically just to insist on purpose and fear.
Yeah.
It's a combination of lessons I've learned as a person.
Yeah.
The second book is called, it was published in 2019, that's the first book. The second book is called Rethinking Business in and Post-Pandemic.
Yeah.
With an inspiration of what has happened over the past few months.
Right.
And this one is not just a book about purpose and fear, but a book more about strategy.
Right.
About once you've identified your purpose in book 1 and learned how to overcome fear, it's a matter of chasing opportunities. So it documents close to 60 lessons that I've learned as a person during this pandemic and even before that, about how to run business, how to overcome, fear and all those things. So it's a big resource about how to overcome fear and how to rethink business in and post pandemic. Published last month.
Yeah.
And the third one is a book it's called The Fear of Change. I think I want to talk more about fear.
Interesting.
I want to talk more about fear.
Yeah, because I've read this book, Who Moved My Cheese? I'm not sure that you've read it, but it's a very interesting book that it's talking about change. So I'd love to see that. I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Man, you're doing great.
Well,
And where can we find your books?
Just Life. On my website, it's called teammwangi.com.
Okay.
Once you get to teammwangi.com, you can find all the information. Or you can also go to rensylintegral.com.
Yeah.
You can also get more about what my company does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We will plug you on our YouTube.
Thank you.
So thank you guys for this time. I hope that you've learned. I have as well, like a lot. There is vision, there is purpose, there is fear, relationships, and building a brand strategy. There is so much into this interview, and I think you need to have a pen and just keep rewatching it. Until next Friday. Bye.